Welcome everyone. Welcome dear faculty members to this day 2 of the online faculty development program on DAV STEM in collaboration with AICTE and Sector Skills Council NASCOM on the Future Skills Prime platform. We'll just wait for a couple of more minutes for everyone to join and I'll just explain the process to you once again. Just let everyone join. I'll put the message in the WhatsApp group also. I'm just sending you on WhatsApp. One second. Yeah. Let me just send that to you. Just give me a minute. I'll send it to you. Okay, so I will just explain the process to you all once again. I will share my screen. Let me just share my screen. Good evening, everyone. First of all, yeah, somebody has raised their hand. Okay. Hello,
Good
Dr.
evening.
Gudetti. Good evening.
I'm
My bad.
sorry, I could not check prior to that. So,
No, no worries, no worries. Uh, okay, I'm just telling everyone the feedback form you can fill at the end of the online FTP on Friday or Saturday. Feedback form you don't have to fill now. I will send you the reflective journal in the group. You can fill it and send it by Saturday or by Friday. Then attendance. Second thing is attendance. Attendance is Dr. Goretti, I'll just take a couple of minutes to explain them.
no problem. Please go ahead.
Yes. So I'm just Mr. Munish Chatterjee. I'm just explaining the process for you, for all of you. So attendance is on Zoom. So once you log in to Zoom, your attendance will be marked. So you don't have to fill any form for attendance or for feedback right now. Right now, you just have to attend the classes, listen to the trainers, and complete the course. All of your email IDs have been created on Future Skills Prime. I will now show you the Future Skills Prime and how you can log in. Your registered email ID on Atal is your login ID as well as your password. You can fill that or you can reset your password. But the registered email ID on Atal, that will work because we have provided you that. So let me share my screen. Okay. 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 So I'm going on Future Skills Prime. If I will, this is the portal. If you can see this portal, please type chat mein yes. If you can see this, please type yes in the chat. Okay. You will log on to this, okay? Then you can log in, okay? So your email ID is your login ID and your password. I've already created it, so it is welcoming me back. I will just enter my details and log in, okay? So you will reach here. This is the portal where you will be taking your assessment and you will be completing your course. Once you log in to Future Skills Prime website, with you will log in here. Your email ID is your login ID and password. So you can log in. Once you log in, you will go here on groups. Okay. If you can see these groups, please type yes in the chat bot. In the chat, please type yes. If you can see the screen, go and click on these groups. Okay. So when you click on groups, okay, either you can refresh from here or you can search for AICTE. Okay. Here you can search for AICTE. When you try, you will reach this. This group you will reach. You will visit here. Okay. AICT Atal Online FDP DAF STEM participants. If you can see this, please type yes in the chat. Here you see your course. This is the course that you need to complete. Digital application fundamentals. Okay, you need to complete this course, and after you complete the course, you can take this assessment. It is completely free of cost. You just have to log into Future Skills Prime. Yes, Dr. Rajkumar, you can let me allow you to talk then. Wait. Dr. Rajkumar. Yes, kindly ask your question. Miss Pratiksha Talevidakar, you can also ask your questions or you can put your questions in the chat.
Hello.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Please ask your question.
Uh, can I start it with generative AI fluency?
Yes, yes, you can start with generative AI fluency also. That's also a good course. That's why I have allotted you this course. You can do
Okay,
that
thank
also.
you. Okay, thank you.
So, what I'm saying is, I'm just closing the chat now and I'm closing the participants. So, basically, I'm saying this is the course that you need to complete, Digital Application Fundamentals, and this is the assessment. It's totally free of cost. You can just complete this. Now, what will happen is that this assessment we will wait till all of you complete this. So by next week, Monday or Tuesday, we will take the results out from the back end. Our pass percentage is 50%, but according to Atal, they need 70% for certificate. So that's why I am saying you
Ma'am,
finish the course so
sorry
that.
for interruption. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Can you tell me the of the live project of the data science,
May I know your good name, please?
Dr. Rajkumar? Na?
Yes, 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 Dr. Rajkumar. This is a course for digital application fundamentals. What is that you are asking?
I am asking for the data science. Actually, I want
Okay.
to real time projects. Can you provide? Yeah, can you provide any links and any websites? Can I
So I'll
join?
suggest that we connect offline. Right now, there are almost uh, 300 people on this call, and we are here for the online FDP. You can message me directly in WhatsApp. I will talk to you on that, right?
Okay, no issue, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much because thank you for understanding. Because the trainer is also waiting. So I will just stop the share now. And I was just saying that, okay, by Monday or Tuesday next week, we'll take the results out, upload it on AICT Atal. You have to uh, give one feedback over there, and then you can download your certificate. If you are Miss Manavapati, sorry, Miss Manavapati, if you are having any problems, I just put in the chat. You can write to us with a screenshot. There's no invitation code. It has already. There's no invitation code, ma'am. No, there is no feedback link. Dr. Goretti, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, madam.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, please introduce yourself and take the session, please.
Yeah. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Let me introduce myself. This is Dr. Goteti. I have 29 years of experience, combined academics and industry. And I am working as a principal consultant at Tech Mahindra. So I had a mix of experience, as I said, both in academia and industry. So if you are not able to follow anywhere, you please just raise your hand and put your question there. And want this session to be very interactive, right? So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Am I audible? Can you see my screen? I just shared the presentation. So today's session will be focusing on deep learning aspects, computer vision, and prompt engineering. We'll have a deep dive on these topics, right? So, so this is agenda. We initially discuss with deep neural networks. After that, we'll talk about the need for convolutional neural networks and the relevance of convolutional neural networks in the context of computer vision. And towards end of the session, we also discuss in detail most happening thing and uh, most discussion area, that is prompt engineering, right? You must have seen a lot of advertisements in Google and other social platforms that most emerging prominent role in the space of AI is prompt engineering, right? So these are the few aspects that we'll be discussing. And there is a separate session this week that is focusing on tools and techniques. So that's how these sessions are planned, right? So we are specifically focusing on deep neural networks, convolution networks, and prompt engineering. So the concept of neural network actually conceptualized from human brain, right? So neural networks deal with algorithms that try to mimic the brain, and the concept is quite old, like the way machine learning concept, right? Machine learning concept is as old as in 58, 59, right? And in recent past, there are a lot of frameworks that have actually come up. Domain specific framework. What I'm saying is, so domain specific framework came up, which makes this area very, very interesting, right? So there are specific domains that one will be interested in, like for example, healthcare, medical diagnostics. These are the fields, or similarly, you know, uh, manufacturing engineering, because these are the areas where we have a lot of images. Jayalakshmi is saying something, unable to log in. Can you please wait for some this class to complete? After that, maybe you can raise these questions because it is
Hello.
honestly
Yeah, yeah.
difficult to me.
Correct, correct. So I'll just request everyone. I will explain everything at the end of this class. So this class will get over at 7:30, 7:35. I will explain everything at that time. Please ask your questions. And right now, please listen to the lecture. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So there are state of art techniques, especially from open source community, in partnership with hyperscalers such as NVIDIA, right? Lot of frameworks that have come up on the basis of these deep networks and associated computations, right? So that's why this area is most promising, and particularly in the domains of natural language processing, natural language understanding, and uh, you know, uh, medical imaging, right? So Rajkumar, you raised your hand. You can speak. Not sure whether you can speak or not, but you can use chat definitely. Rajkumar, what is your question?
I've already unmuted him. He can speak. Otherwise, he can put it in chat. You please continue, sir.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So, so fundamentally, if you look at the way human brain functions, right? Human brain is made up of billions of atomic entities called neurons, right? So if you look at the structure of a neuron, typically it looks like this, right? So brain receives signals, right, through different parts of this neuron, and they are classified into dendrites and the body of the cell and axons, right? So if you see here, dendrites are those which receives the signal and cell body integrates them and it is part of the nucleus, and you have axon terminal which will create outputs, so it transmits processed electrical impulse through the cell body and to other neurons or muscles where you can take some actions, right? So this is the concept of biological neuron which will be leveraging to model what we call artificial neuron, right? Now if you see this diagram, you can see how the biological neuron functions and how a mathematical model for artificial neuron is proposed here, right? So, like the way this neuron receives the inputs and process that information and gives the output, we can think of the data which is fed to this neuron, and this neuron will take as algebraic sum of various inputs, and it returns it returns a weighted sum is subsequently given to your activation function. So there are two things that you have in the activation node, is called activation node. The first one is computing this algebraic sum of x1 x2 x3 multiplied by the weights. So the weights that you see as W0, W1, etc. So these denote, they represent the strength of that particular feature. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir, I am understanding. But I want to
Mm.
ask one question to related to data science.
No,
How,
data science. I think that if you wait for few more days towards the end of this, right around Friday, we have another session
how
where.
should we frame problem statement for impactful data science research?
No, no, that's what I'm saying. If you wait for few more days, on Friday there is
Okay,
one more session we are having. Probably we can
okay,
discuss that. Okay?
no, no issue.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you, sir.
no problem. So what we are saying here is that you have set of inputs and these are multiplied with respective weights, and you got what we call algebraic sum. After that you have output, something like this, right? So let me explain this in detail. Let me share this. So you can see my blackboard, right? So what we are saying here is that you have, let's say, data set. A data set comprises of set of features like this, right? You are able to see my board, no? Assume that there are D such features. Against each feature, some value here. Some values, right? So when you see these values, now suppose you want to predict y. Let us say y can be a class or y can be a prediction of a numeric value, right? So when you look at the typical neural network, it will live like this. You are giving inputs, which are your features, and these are given as inputs to your outermost layer and something like this, right? And in fact, the same X can be given to more than one node like this, right? Now we have another layer here. This is again collection of activation units. So this is called activation unit. Okay. From this node to is connected with every other node. So let me just put some color demarcation. And so is the case here. Every node is connected to every other node. Similarly, if you take this node, right, it is connected with every node of the next layer. So this is called deep neural network, right? So these layers that you see here, these are called hidden layers. But there is something called output layer, which will be something like this. Suppose you have three classes. Now all these are connected with this output layer, right? Now if you look at structure of this is your input layer, right? So if you look at structure of computation, suppose you have giving two inputs to a particular activation unit. This is called activation node or unit. So this has two parts. The first part is denoted by sigma. Second part with some non-linear equation, right? So in addition to these inputs, you also have some bias term, which is called W0. The weights associated with X1 is W1, this is W2. Now sigma is computed as omega 0 omega 1 x1 plus, in other words, if omega bar is a vector, column vector like omega 0, omega 1, omega 2, and x bar is something like 1, x1, x2 column vector. So you can say the sigma is nothing but omega transpose x bar, right? In other words, we can write this as multiplied with column vector, because this is 1 cross 3 matrix, this is 3 cross 1 matrix. You get a scalar which is nothing but omega 0 into 1, omega 1 x1. So this is what your sigma all about, right? Now, after that, you are introducing some non-linear activation. So this is denoted by some activation functions. We will discuss in detail later. Okay. So this is the overall structure of neural network. Any question on this? Now you understood, right? Typically how this look like. So what are these deep neural networks? So we know that in a neural network, we have input layer, set of hidden layers, right? And after that, we have output layer, isn't it? Now, suppose you just have input layer and then output layer. There are no hidden layers. Then such model is called perceptron model. A perceptron model, this is very important point, like for our quiz, etc. A perceptron model is a network model where there are no hidden layers. Now, when it comes to deep neural networks are called deep in the sense that you have lot of layers as you move from left to right, and each layer might have a lot of activation functions, activation nodes. It depends upon the complexity of the problem, right? If your problem is very complex, then probably you need more complex network to learn the parameters, right? Are you understanding? So why it is called deep? It is called deep because number of hidden layers between your output layer and input layer, right? So deep in the sense that there are a lot of layers you have, and each layer has many activation nodes. So as I told earlier, these are the key components of your neural network. You have input layer, multiple hidden layers, and then output layer. And each neuron has two tasks. One is to compute weighted sum, like explained as sigma, and subsequently a nonlinear transformation. That means nonlinear activation, what we call, right? So why do we have deep neural networks? Because these layers which are deeper inside are expected to learn more complex features of the input. Let's say image. If you have an image, they will be able to learn more complex features uh, like eyes, etc. Okay, so that's how it is. Any other question you have? No problem. Now let us understand few important things in terms of computation, right? So the main features of network, if you see, one is automatic feature extraction. If you recall, the traditional machine learning relies on feature engineering steps. Like, for example, you will be extracting the features of high importance. You will be constructing new features from the existing features, isn't it? So, lot of activities that you perform as part of your pre-processing, right? Or feature engineering. If the quality of feature engineering is poor, then probably your models might uh, suffer from insufficient data or bias and variance, these kind of problems, right? So the important thing, whether it is a machine learning or a deep learning context, you always starts with a you always start with a simple base model, right? You start with a base model and try to see the results of that base model. If you see the results are decent enough, then you try to just fine tune that model, right? And if you feel that the models are not giving encouraging results, then probably you change the model, right? The rule of thumb is you always start with a base model. Okay. So unlike your machine learning problems, your deep neural networks learns features from raw data. So that means suppose I have input layer with x1, x2, xn. I'm feeding these values to first hidden layer. After first hidden layer, what you get is more complex features which are derived from the data set, which are constructed from the data set, right? Similarly, next hidden layer, these becomes more complex features for the next hidden layer, so on and so forth. For example, if your input features are so clear, right? They actually capture inherent behavior of your data. Then probably without even hidden layer also you can directly feed to output layer, right? But in real life it is not the case. You have to extract higher order features so that your network is robust enough to make predictions on unseen examples earlier. So this is the most important point. So the traditional machine learning relies on feature engineering aspects, whereas deep neural networks learn features from raw data through through the notion of layers, right? Now another important thing is in the case of traditional machine learning, we have the problem of curse of dimensionality. That means if you have too many features compared to number of examples that we have, then this dimensionality will actually create problem in terms of overall model performance, right? I don't want to get into details of that, but essentially what it is. But here, in the case of neural networks, even that is not a problem. Even if you have more number of dimensions, it is essentially having more number of nodes in the input layer, and so is the case with next layer, so on and so forth. So number of dimensions or number of features, even if they are very large. In fact, the complex data sets are more appropriate for neural network models. Any questions so far? Okay, no problem. So another thing is the neural networks captures complex nonlinear relationships. How these complex nonlinear relationships are factored into this? Complex nonlinear relationships are factored into this through the activation functions, which are which are at every node, right? Because a node, if you look at in a network, it has two parts. First one is algebraic sum of weights and features of predecessor layer, and then a nonlinear activation applied on this algebraic sum, right? So that helps you to uh, enable the network to learn more complex, more complex nonlinear relationships. So because you have multiple layers, which across the network, and each layer is deep enough, they actually allow modeling of higher nonlinear feature space, and this makes it better than models like support vector machines. Support vector machines always aspire to come up with a linear decision boundary by transforming the feature space into a nonlinear feature space, right? So compared to that, you expect these models to give better results. But based on my experience, I have seen even SVM models perform decently, right? Uh, it depends upon the data set and hidden patterns within the data set. We can apply SVM even for image processing data also, right? Now, another thing is, one important practice that you should always follow is when you are giving the features, you better scale them. Scaling, there are two types of scaling, right? In in this context, one is called min-max scaling, other one is standard scaling. So let me explain what is scaling. So we are talking about concept of scaling. So one is normalization. So this is like this. Any data point you take, you say x minus minimum value divided by maximum value in that column minus minimum value in that column. Second one is called standardization. So in standardization, what you do, each data point you take mean value of that column divided by standard deviation of that column, right? So you are trying to, if you have a feature x as a column, if you take the distribution of points, assume that you have a distribution like this, you try to calculate mean value and sigma value, right? So when do we use standardization? When do we use normalization? Can you tell me? This is called min-max scaling. This is called standardization. Sometimes this is also called Z scaling. You have any idea when to use min-max scaling, when to use this? You can type yes or no in the chat window. Yeah, normalization is bringing the value between 0 and 1, right? So let me just put it this way. So for image data, you will do min-max scaling. And for other continuous data, you will do that normalization, right? Why? Because in the case of images, if you take any image, particularly black and white, right? You have the pixels as a representation, 0 to 255. So any image that you take, the representation is pixel values, which lies between values. So that is the reason you will do min-max scaling. Any pixel if you take, you just take x minus minimum 0 divided by 255. So essentially the values lie between 0 and 1, right? So it will help you to put the values between 0 and 1, right? On the other hand, if you look at Z normalization, if we access your feature, right? Now you calculate the mean values of this feature, which is mu. You find standard deviation. How do you find standard deviation? Each data point you take by like this. In other words, each data point, okay, summation minus mean value. So this is the formula, right? But this you do for other numeric data. For in the case of images, you will do min max normalization, right? Let me go to the slide. So this is about scaling. Now, and deep neural networks can be applied in many domains, right? It can be NLP techniques, computer vision. Computer vision means most importantly healthcare, medical imaging. Like for example, you want to do segmentation. You have X-ray image, right? You want to uh, diagnose whether it is a pneumonia or something else, right? So such kind of X-ray analysis that you can do using this. Size of the output layer depends upon the problem that you are solving, Srikanth. Like for example, if you are talking about I want to scan this image and I want to make a prediction whether this X-ray is something connected with pneumonia or bronchitis. There are two classes I have, right? Now you want to diagnose whether it is a pneumonia or bronchitis or other. There are three classes. So your output layer will have three nodes. So size of the output layer depends upon the number of outputs that you want to have, and also how output is computed in terms of probabilities. Right? Each node will give you a probability. What is the probability that the given image is of a particular class, right? So considering this, there are multiple applications you have for neural networks. Some of them include NLP, as I said, speech and object detection, then image segmentation, and of course, uh, applications towards reinforcement learning and even agentic AI, right? So they can also leverage these techniques. Now let us take some example because unless we take up some example, it is very difficult to understand. So you have two inputs. Now I want to talk about OR gate. We know OR gate, right? OR gate look like this. You have input x1. This is your OR gate. So what OR gate does is that you have two bits, 0 and 1. It will give 1. Similarly, 1 0 also 1, and 1 1 also 1, because we are talking about carry here. Okay. Suppose I want to simulate a neural network which can give me these kind of OR gate outputs. So what you can do is you can choose these weights, something like this, and this is your sigma. The sigma is nothing but minus 10 times 1, 20 times x1, another 20 times x2. This quantity, you call it as z. You pass that z here as a argument to nonlinear function g, right? How these nonlinear values are computed? Here we assume that g of z is equal to 1 by 1 plus e power minus z. So this is the nonlinear activation function, because you can think of lot of activation functions. Let me explain on the board here. We are getting into the activation functions. Types of activation functions. So first one is called sigmoid function. So sigmoid function look like sigma of z is equal to 1 by 1 plus e power minus z. You plot this, right, as z tends to infinity, e power minus z becomes 0. You will get this becomes 0, 1 by 1 plus 0, it is 1. When z is equal to 0, here, right, 1 by 1 plus e power minus 0 also 1, this is 0.5. So it look like this. This is the nonlinearity that you are introducing. We call it as S curve, right? So let us say if you are doing this, so if you take when z becomes negative, which implies sigma of z approaching 0. Why? Because this is a negative value, e power minus of negative value will blow up 1 by large value, that is infinity. When z is greater than 0 or some positive definite, then sigma of z is approaches to 1. So this is the understanding. Now we go back to the slide here. You can see it here. When I say, let me just take this slide. Give me a minute. Yeah. Now, if you look at here, let me add, this is g of, when you put both are 0, when you put both of them are 0, right? You have g of minus 10 plus 0 plus 0, hence you got g of minus 10. Similarly here, if you want to do this calculation, this is nothing but g of minus 10. X1 is 0. 20 into 0 plus 20. This is nothing but g of 10. Since z is positive, it becomes 1 here. Now, like that you can calculate and simulate your OR gate. Similarly, you can simulate AND gate, right? So, which means if you have two inputs, x1 and x2, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. What are the outputs of AND gate? You take y, this is 0, 1 into 0, 0, 0 into 1, 0, 1 into 1, 1. Now, let us check these outputs. Now suppose I want to, I give these are my weights. Suppose if I choose these are the weights, then this becomes the left hand side of the activation unit will be sigma, which is nothing but minus 30 into 1 plus 20 into x1 plus 20 into x2. So hence this quantity is becoming minus 30 plus 20x1 plus 20x2. Now, if you calculate here, if both are 0, then this becomes g of minus 30. When, when one of them is 0, other is 1, this becomes minus 30 plus 20 into 1 plus 0. That is equal to g of minus 10. Since that is minus 10, that is negative side, still it is 0. So is the case with 1, 0 or 0, 1. If both are 1, what will happen? This becomes g of 20 into 1 plus 20 into 1. Which is nothing but g of 40 minus 30. So that's how we can model any of these gates. But you cannot model something called XOR gate with simple perceptron model. What is perceptron model? A perceptron model is a network model without any hidden layers, right? All right. So this example for XOR gate, I don't want to do this. Now let us extend this idea to multi-class classification problem. Presentation visible? Hello? Let me reshare. Please confirm presentation is visible. Okay. Yeah. So you can think of another problem where you want to classify these images. Like you see some pedestrian, you see some vehicle, motorcycle, etc. So these are the classes. How many classes I have? Pedestrian, car, motorcycle, truck. There are four classes. So how many nodes I will have in the output layer? Because I have four classes, four output nodes. But in between you can have any number of layers. Similarly, each layer any number of nodes. Again, we will be fine tuning these networks to optimal number of layers and optimal number of nodes within the layer. So this is your input. Input can be anything. So finally what happens? You will get the probabilities in the output. But the first one represents a pedestrian, second one represents car, third node represents a motorcycle, fourth node represents truck. So for each of these, you will get probabilities. Suppose you are getting probabilities something like here 0.2, 0.6, 0.1, 1.3 or zero point 0.1. Zero point 0.6 plus 0.2, 0.8, total probability is 1. But what is the maximum probability? You say argmax of all the probabilities. You pick up the class among them, which is the highest probability? This probability. This corresponds to which node? First node, that is class C1. Right? So this is all about deep neural networks. Hope this concept is clear to you, right? Bhuvaneshwari madam, can you see my screen? Yeah. Now let us get into convolutional networks. Yeah, I will share that. No, diagram is okay. So towards end of this class, I will share. So another one is convolution neural networks. So convolution neural network is a kind of convolutional operation which you are doing from layer to layer, right? So there are three important things. One is convolutional layer. Next one is pooling layer. Then a set of fully connected layer towards output. So typically a CNN will comprise of uh, there is no diagram, only slide I'm sharing. Can you see the slide? Sonia. I think Sonia, yeah, good. So when do we use these CNN models? Slide is not visible. Why Manjesh is saying it is visible? Yeah. So when you look at CNN or convolutional operation, why do we need CNN? Already we have deep neural networks, right? The importance here is when you look at these images, right? So image is not just a grayscale. You have a RGB, red, blue, green distribution of these colors, right? So if you see this distribution, it is a spatially distributed data. Something like, if you are traveling in a plane, when you just uh, see the ground with the naked eye, you can see these hills and valleys kind of a thing, right? So it's a kind of spatially distributed data. For spatially distributed data, you have additional dimensions of RGB, and hence uh, you need more complex model in order to extract the features from these images, or for example even the speech, right, video, all this data. So that's why we are introducing a operation called convolution. So there are three things. Pooling layer, I will show you with examples also. Remember, these are two classes actually. This one, and we are also having on Friday. So we will One is on AI tools, other one is on these CNN and other models. So that's where we can try to combine, collectively see in both the sessions, you will get enough understanding, enough examples and stuff like that, right? So first, please bear with me to understand the base models. So the important features of convolutional networks is what we call local receptive fields. Right? What is local receptive field? You want to focus or concentrate on small region in this. Like you have a torchlight, right? Suppose you have a screen. When you put the torchlight, what happens? You will only see the region where you see the flash. So this is called local receptive field. So using convolution operation and pooling, you are trying to extract a specific region in the image, right? Specific region in the image instead of everything. Right? So what you do is that if you have image data like this, you scan through that image various regions like that. You scan through it, right? Now, another important thing is what we call parameter sharing, right? So, actually, what does it mean? If you look at the filter, there is something, I will explain you what is filter. So, when I explain this with a diagram, probably you'll understand. Give me a minute. Okay, see this diagram. So, this is called the field focus, right? So this is your focus field, right? And this is called kernel, right? Suppose you take this size as 3 by 3, you just focus on only small region. Assume that it is a torchlight. So this torchlight first put on this region, next this region, next this region. We keep on moving it, right? So that is called a filter. So what happens when you put this filter, using this filter you apply convolution operation. So, so filter will have certain values, right? These again called model parameters, which your model will learn through various algorithms, including what we call back propagation algorithm, right? So this is how it works, right? So as you see here, the convolution operation, right? You see convolution operation. Assume that this is my kernel. What is the size of the kernel? Two rows and two columns. How this convolution operation is done? You take each element. Suppose this is your focus. What we said here? Local receptive field, right? This is my local receptive field. What is my receptive field? My receptive field is this blue region. Why this blue region? Because this is the size of the kernel. So you take 2 by 2 matrix, you just overlap or superimpose on this image and you compute element wise product. That means 0 into 0 plus 1 into 1. It will be like this. The convolution operation is carried out like this. This cell is nothing but 0 into 0 plus 1 into 1. That means we are taking this element, we are multiplying the corresponding element. This element, corresponding element, plus, and this element 3 into 2, plus, and you have 4 into 3. So that is 12 plus 6, 8 plus 1, 19. Now let us look at next operation. Give me a minute. One minute. Let us look at next operation. So here, what we have, you have you your receptive field is 1, 2, 4, 5, and you are applying convolution with 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is your receptive field. So how do you get this? This is 1 into 0, 2 into 1, 4 into 2, 5 into 3, which is equal to 0 plus 2 plus 8 plus 15, 25. That's how you got 25 here. Like that, we can get these values as well. So, so you understood now how it captures a small portion of the receptive field. Now parameter sharing, because this kernel, what you do convolution operation, the same kernel, first you have image like this, you first put here, next below. So same filter slides across the image. Next, translational invariance. That means the pattern recognition remains robust even the objects move within the image, right? And high performance in vision tasks. Sometimes what happens is you if you look at these kernels, right? This kernel, when you move from here to here, from here to here like this, but the central portion of the image is having multiple overlaps, but the edges, you don't see that much overlap. So to ensure that edges are detected properly, to ensure what you do padding. So suppose if you do padding everywhere, this is my actual image. These are my grids. Now you put in one extra border in all sides and put zeros here. Then suppose you start your kernel like this, then there is a chance that you are focusing on edges significantly, right? So edge detection problems are the images where edges play an important role. Then probably you will use what we call, padding. You pad additional border on either side with zeros and run through this kernel algorithm, right? So there is one more technique that is called pooling. That means when you compute these kernels, you want to pick up maximum or most prominent feature from that. The way we can look at is there are three types of poolings we have. One is maximum pooling, other one is minimum pooling, and then average pooling. So most common practice is to use uh, either max pooling or average pooling, right? Now let us understand the difference between these networks in terms of standard artificial neural networks or fully connected networks and convolutional neural networks. The first thing is The first thing is input handling. In the aspect of input handling, you are fully connected layer, you just flat accept as a flattened vectors, right? So whereas CNN, like I said, it is spatially distributed data, you will have some images which are actually multiplied the proportionate to the number of dimensions, so on and so forth. Now, for feature learning perspective, they learn spatial features automatically through convolution operation and the pooling. That means you want to capture most dominant features, right? But such options are not available for fully connected layer. It doesn't mean that fully connected artificial neural networks are not useful, but if you are having very complex data, something like in automobile engineering applications, or if you want to predict the test cycle of a particular vehicle, something like Mercedes-Benz, right? You can check that in Kaggle there are a lot of data sets. You can check for Mercedes-Benz data set, which has 300 plus features, predominant features, right? So you can use the neural network experiment on your own and see how the uh, model works better than other traditional machine learning models, especially in this context where you have a lot of features that are there. But one problem with these models is uh, transparency or explainability, right? Suppose if you predict certain things of a particular class, these models will not be able to clearly tell you or give you insights on what basis this particular image is classified as, let's say, car, right? On what basis this particular image is classified as a pedestrian, right? So for that, we will be using more advanced techniques called grad cam, where in each image you will highlight that portion, critical portion or region, which actually determines the class, right? So these are a lot of interesting techniques that are available. But deep neural networks, you can also think of applying them in various domains, particularly natural language processing, NLU, so on and so forth. So first you need to pick up a domain. Once you pick up a domain, then you can think of what models can come into that, right? Now, similarly, if you look at computational cost, so computationally, they are efficient on images, and because of the flattening thing and unavailability of convolution operation, they will become expensive with the traditional networks. So translation invariance is inbuilt with convolution and pooling in the case of CNN, but it's not so natural in the traditional neural network. Now, how exactly these networks learn, right? Suppose you have an image of a cat. When you take the representation of this representation involves pixels, right? So numerical values, series of values, each value lies between 0 to 255, right? 255 is the maximum value of a pixel, 0 is the minimum value. Now, when you apply convolution operation, then you are extracting certain features like eyes of the cat or nose of the cat, so on and so forth. And when you run through deep neural network, you will be able to extract more complex features, so something like color of the eyeball and things like that, right? So in convolution neural network, you will be using convolution and pooling, and uh, sliding all these things in a very very sequential and systematic manner, right? But what model learns size of the kernel. It will learn what are the weights associated with each cell within the kernel. It will learn, apart from that, it will also learn weights of your neural network model, right? So this is typically you are applying some pooling, again convolution pooling in an alternative way. Then finally, before output layer, you flatten this, and then you have a classification problem. There are four classes, then four output nodes. Your output will be probabilities where activation functions in the output nodes are softmax. So when I say softmax, a mathematical representation of this softmax definition of softmax is e power minus z by sigma e power minus z, right? So this is how it is. So these are the probabilities. This is Z1. So some of the probabilities are always one. For example, you have a class C1, e power minus Z1 by sigma e power minus Z. All Z's you are taking here, not only Z1, for all Z's, right? Similarly, C2, e power minus Z2 by sigma e power minus Z, right? So that's how it works. Now, as I said, it can repeat multiple times. So essentially, uh, it will help us to extract more dominant features from the neural network through these repeated set of operations, right? Now, sometimes you want to do some segmentation, object detection, right? This kind of high resolution tasks. So when you think of those kind of tasks, so what essentially means is that suppose you have a beak of a bird, right? Which might be difficult to classify just based on the beak for a naked eye. But when you train the models with these kind of multiple images, the models are able to get higher order features through deep neural networks, and then they can probably detect these things. So this is about convolutional networks and computer vision tasks. A brief overview on this. Any questions so far? Now let me get into the next topic, that is prompt engineering, right? What is prompt engineering? So, if prompt engineering helps in communicating with large language models. So large language models, again, at abstract level, are a bunch of these neural networks that we discussed just now. But there are many variants of these large language models which aims at extracting information from various sources and responding to you based on the prompt that you supply, right? There are many prompting techniques that we have. When you give a chat GPT, for example, right? What is GPT? Generative Transformative Model, like Gemini, right? When you give a prompt, how we have to give the prompts, how to improve the performance of the model by giving right prompting. These are the aspects that we'll be discussing in prompt engineering. So prompt engineering, one of the important thing is persona. That means role. Role plays very important role. So when you design a prompt, it is important that your prompt is having clarity and specificity, because clarity and specificity improves your response, quality of response that you get from the large language model. Now, second thing is using right prompts will give you the context to the model, right? So if you give right context, you will get response also in a very very appropriate manner, isn't it? So then you want to structure these prompts, and you want to define certain constraints if needed for the prompts, and you recursively and systematically uh, apply these prompts right from the small prompt to more complex prompts, so that you are enabling large language model to construct its knowledge in a very very systematic way, while you are getting the response from this large language model. So there are many techniques that are there. We will be discussing in detail now. So key aspects include clarity and specificity. So ensure that your prompts are very clear. So for example, if you say explain photosynthesis, it might be vague. If you say that, if you give an example, suppose how do you explain photosynthesis for a person of 10-year-old? That means you are asking persona. Persona means role. So how do we explain a particular concept to a 10-year-old person? How do we explain a particular concept for a, let's say, faculty? It varies, right? So giving that kind of clarity is very important for the large language models, right? So then we need to provide the context. So that means you want to give some examples, like you are a marketing expert, create a tagline for a new eco-friendly water bottle. That means you are actually giving a role and you are clearly articulating the expectation in terms of what kind of knowledge it has to churn out and respond to you as a response, right? Because these large language models will have access to various corpora, various voluminous resources for the information extraction, right? That's why our response, the way we want the large language model to respond, will predominantly governed by what kind of prompts that we are giving. Now, iteration step involves you will run multiple iterations through this prompting so that there is a systematic construction, as I said earlier, of the knowledge and the response that you get here. There are a lot of prompt design techniques like few shot, chain of thought, so on and so forth. Now, important thing is that you are actually utilizing the resources very well, right? Because unnecessarily you will be wasting a lot of computational resources if your prompting is poor. So well crafted prompts lead to more accurate answers, creative results, and lesser side effects. These side effects are also called uh, hallucination, right? Because it will try to remember something, misconception and all that, right? Now, when you think of design aspects of the prompt, there are three design techniques. We have zero shot prompting, few shot prompting, and then chain of thought prompting. Let us understand them in detail with a comparative study. So, if you look at one shot prompting, you are giving a single example to the large language model to get the response. Uh, and few shot prompting means you are giving few examples, maybe few examples, couple of examples, two examples or three examples, something like that. All right. Chain of thought means you are giving examples in a very systematic way, right? In a chronological way, so that you enable your large language model to think through and construct a language in a better way, right? And then you have something like these are the some examples. Then model guidance is limited in the case of one shot prompting, and in the case of few shot prompting your model will have good inference because of the examples that you are giving. And in the case of chain or thought, it's more complex information you can gather, like math problems, logical puzzles, reasoning based tasks can be solved using chain of thought design technique. So of course, these are the some of the advantages and limitations. One of the main problem is the improper information, which can lead to even hallucination, right? So So, what are the important expectations from prompt engineers, right? Prompt engineering is very important skill. Prompt engineers are paid heavily nowadays. These are some of the skills, right? Familiarity with large language models, strong communication skills, and ability to explain technical concepts, programming expertise, particularly languages like Python, right? And you need to have good understanding of data structures, right? And you need to understand various risks associated with these prompts, so on and so forth, right? So, what are the side effects? Side effects is predominantly a hallucination, which can be interpreted as some kind of ambiguous and incorrect information being shared with you by the large language model because of the poor quality of information that you are giving to the model, right? But there are a lot of other things which are responsible for hallucination, but those are beyond the scope of this particular class, right? So, so you can reduce the hallucination by asking it to validate the source of information, because these large language models extract information from various sources, right? So you can always ask citations or evidence, right? And you can use chain of thought approach, and you can use persona based approach, right, to get better response from the large language models. So these are the typical examples of prompt. Suppose if you say, explain how Apache Kafka is used in real-time streaming, right? For a beginner, that means you are telling persona, right? You are a beginner. That means a concise overview. You will get output something like that. Kafka publish subscriber model, blah, blah, blah. Right? Suppose if you want to take an example of few-shot prompting, explain neural networks to a 10-year-old person, right? It will give some example. Similarly, say explain neural network to a college student. It will give you another response. Explain Apache Kafka to college student. It will give some expected output. So persona plays very, very important role, right? There are certain other things uh, but probably we can discuss in the next class, because we have another class slated on Friday, I think, right? So there are some examples, quiz questions also I have to discuss, but maybe we can discuss in the next class. So is it fine, Kamna, if we can conclude now, or you want me to
Yes.
continue?
No, no, no. Yes, please. Thank you so much. Because I need to
Thank you.
explain to them about the process
Yeah,
also. So we will see
yeah,
you
yeah.
in the next
Thanks.
class, and you can take the
Yeah,
questions
yeah.
in the next class.
Thank you
Right.
so
So
much.
thank you so much. And before I welcome Shikha Tyagi, our next trainer, I just take 2 minutes to explain the process. Okay. So firstly, attendance is taken when you join on Zoom. There is no separate link for attendance. I'll just request everyone to listen very carefully. I will not repeat this in the class abhi right now. Attendance is on Zoom. When you join on Zoom, attendance is automatically taken. We will upload it on Atal. Okay, that's one. Second, feedback link you will get. I will share that document with you on Friday or Saturday. You can fill it then. Some of you have not got your email IDs. That's okay. I'm getting it sorted. It'll be done by tomorrow. So if you have not, some of you like Naseeb Ahmed Saab, your logging email is showing error. I some others also it is showing an error. I'm getting it sorted. It will be done by tomorrow. So please allow time till tomorrow 6 o'clock. I'll just quickly show my screen to tell you what you need to do. Some of you are asking about the certification. If you complete our course, you will get an ASCOM certification for participation. And if you score 70% in the assessment, which I'll show you just now, then you will get the Atal certificate. So this is the website you need to go, Future Skills Prime. Some of you, your email ID is not yet created. That will happen tomorrow. Just log in, okay? And I already have this thing, so I just have to log in. So I just have to log in. It will take me here. I will go on groups. If you can see the groups, please type type yes in the chat box. If you can see the groups. So you just click on groups, and some of you are not able to see your groups right now. There is an error, so it will happen tomorrow. Others, just go here and type AICTE. You'll get your group. This is your group. AICT Atal Online FDP. If you please complete this course, Digital Application Fundamentals STEM. If you complete this course, you will get a participation certificate from NASCOM. If you can understand what I'm saying, please type yes in the chat. Assessment is free, which is over here. It is there in your group. Only you, this faculty members of this group are getting it a free assessment. Otherwise, it's a paid assessment of 600 rupees. And if you want us to offer this platform to your students, you can reach out to me directly on WhatsApp and we can discuss a partnership with NASCOM. So that can also happen. I think you can see the assessment is free. If you understand that the assessment is free, please type yes in the chat box. Yeah, Purnima Narendraji, there is an issue with your login ID. It will be done sorted by tomorrow evening. So if you take this assessment, it is a free assessment. You don't have to pay, but you have to come only in this group. You will find this assessment free. If you just find it on platform, it is for 600 rupees. Your password is your email ID, Arul Moizi. Yes. So I'll just stop share now. And tomorrow at 6 o'clock, I'll explain again for those who have not got it. But right now, I'm stopping the share and I'm handing it over to Shikha to take the next class. Otherwise, she'll not be able to cover all the topics. So over to you, Shikha.
Yeah.
Welcome, Shikha. Shikha is the founder of AI Jamik. She's been with with American Express before this, and she was leading their AI governance. And now she is founder of an AI startup, which is AI Jamik, and she has been taking very interesting sessions. So over to you, Shikha. I won't take much time. I already took 6
Thank you,
minutes of
Kamna.
yours.
Thanks a lot. So, hello everyone. Let me quickly share my screen. So, I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Please use chat as much as possible. Drop in your responses there. I'll have some quizzes also, so I would request all of you to participate in those also. You can drop your responses for those quizzes also in the chat. So let me put this on full screen. Okay, so everyone, as you can see, the topic that I'm going to cover today is how to use AI tools for online learning. This is one of my favorite topic because I also use on a day-to-day basis a lot of AI tools for learning new skills, upskilling myself. So I hope whatever I'm going to take you through today, you will be able to apply that in your day-to-day basis right away. So let's quickly check the agenda. So these are the three things I will be covering today. First, I'll take you through a smart study system that we will be creating together using AI tools. And the objective will be to how to upskill ourselves using AI as a learning and thinking partner. The second agenda will be how to apply the smart studies system for teaching and learning. So how you can teach your students using different AI learning tools, how you can design content, assessments, and interactions for students using AI tools. And I'll finish the session with a small section on the responsible and ethical use of AI in education. So with this, let's start the session. And before I begin, I have this question for all of you. Do you know what is Bloom's 2 sigma problem? Feel free to drop in chat. Do you know that? What is Bloom's 2 sigma problem? Yes, no. Yeah, so I'm getting responses. Okay, so you are not aware of this. So let me quickly take you through what is Bloom's 2 sigma. So if you go to Google and search this phrase Bloom's 2 sigma problem, This is what you will get. Let me zoom in a bit. So Benjamin Bloom, so this study was done by Benjamin Bloom, and during the study he found that one-on-one tutoring with mastery learning makes students perform 2 standard deviation better than the average classroom students, meaning that he emphasized on the personalized learning aspect, that when you give any student one-on-one personalized tutoring, their performance increases significantly. And in today's world, in today's age, we have a lot of these AI tools available, which if you use, you can use to create personalized content or education path for yourself or even for your students. So this is something, keep in mind that why these AI tools are gaining so much popularity in doing the online learning or creating personalized training content. So let's go back to the slide. So with this thought in mind, let's go to the next slide. So what we will be doing now, we will be creating a smart study system using different AI tools using this 4-step process. The objective here will be to learn skills. As a faculty, you want to upskill yourself and also teach your students effectively. So this is the 4-step process we will follow to achieve that goal. We'll start with the learning phase, where we will be using AI as our thought partner for upskilling and learning new skills. The second will be content design and delivery. So let's say whatever learnings you have got in the first phase, now you want to deliver that to your student. So how you can design the content and interactive media using the different AI tools. This is what we will see in this step. The third will be assessment phase. Here we'll see how AI tools can be leveraged for item creation and auto grading. And after that, we have a final phase, which is your analytics phase. So let's say whatever learnings you had or whatever course you taught to your students, and you have the assessment results with you. So how you can use the results of those assessment to come up with the next course of actions, like what should be done next. Do you need to create some personalized training program for a certain section of students? Or let's say you did the assessment on your own learning and you find that these are specific topics that you were not able to grasp well. So how you can generate those learning insights using AI tools is what we will be looking at in the analytics phase. So this is the 4-step design we are going to do with different AI tools. So let's start with the first phase of learning phase. And as by the name, you can see that here we will be using different AI tools as our thought partner. This is where we will use them for one-on-one personalized coaching. I'll take you through these sets of AI tools. We will be doing upskilling using AI tools such as Google Colab, GitHub Copilot. These are very popular if you want to learn technical skills or you want to upskill yourself on coding. For example, let's say AI, data science, data analytics is gaining a lot of popularity and you want to upskill yourself on them. So how you can use Google Colab, GitHub Copilot on a day-to-day basis is what I'll show you in the hands-on demos. Second will be, let's say you want to work on a specific topic or you want to do some research on a topic for your own, let's say, research area that you are working on. Let's say you have a specific specialization that you want to work on. So what are the different tools available which is using AI is what we will be covering as part of Elicit and Science Navigator. So these are very popular tools which can help people in doing research, understand what's happening in the latest research. After that, I'll take you to a very specialized set of tools. So till now, these two sets of tools which we have looked at, these are primarily for technical skill enhancement, or let's say in looking at different research, doing research in a specific area. But if you want to, let's say, upskill yourself or want to work on, let's say, your communication skills, these are usually categorized as soft skills. So if you want to, let's say, work on communication skills, your writing skills, you have an upcoming presentation coming up and you want to prepare for that. So in this particular section, I'll take you through the tools which you can use for that. So before I begin, quick question. Have you used Google Colab, GitHub or GitHub Copilot for, let's say, doing coding or any exploration in tech field? So have you used any of these tools? So I'm getting some responses, yes, yeah. Yeah, so I got few responses as yes. So let me take you through first Google Colab, how you can use that to learn new programming languages. If you want to, let's say, research and work on AI models. So how you can use that through these tools is what I'll take you through next. So let's first open Google Colab. So this is, if you go to Google and type this URL, or let's say just say Google Colab. So this is the kind of result you will get, and when you click on it, you will land on the home page of Google Colab. This is where, if you see at the bottom, they have actually integrated Gemini. So Gemini is Google's AI model. So you can take its help as an AI pair programmer. So if you click here, you see on the right hand side, it says, how can I help you today? And it gives you a lot of options like what you want to do. Explore AI models in Google Colab, print the response variable, ask the AI to write a poem. So you see it provides you different options with respect to writing codes in Colab notebook. So let's start here first and click on file, and you can click here that new notebook is what you want to create. So let's say you want to learn Python, upskill yourself in Python, want to learn about how to create machine learning AI models for different tasks. So this is all what you can take help through Colab notebook. So here you see, this is what it looks like. You don't have to write any code. All what we will do, we will take help of Gemini, which is integrated here. So let's click on Gemini. And here you see different options are there. Let's say you want to learn about machine learning, how to create machine learning model. So here you have the third option readily available to you. What you can do, you can just simply click on it, and it will start analyzing your request, and behind the scene will work on creating a simple ML model pipeline. And if you look at the left hand side, all the code has been generated automatically without me writing any piece of code. And it also gives you an information that here is an example of training a simple linear regression model using scikit-learn. And all the code has been written on left hand side. You can go through it, and let's say you have question on any of code which has been written, you can take help of AI again, that help me understand what does this mean. So here you see it has said linear regression model. So you can ask as a follow-up question like what is linear regression model, and it will start answering your queries. So you see, linear regression is a fundamental algorithm used for predicting the values here. So and it also says that in simpler terms, it tries to find the best fitting line through a set of data points. So in this way, you can see it has given a sample code. And if you have any query, let's say, how can I load my data in Colab? So you can ask queries on that. So let's say you have data that you want to analyze. So you can ask questions on that also. So how to load CSV file. So this is the kind of question you can ask here. So you see, it gives you sample question, like way of how to load the files using Pandas data frame. You can easily load a CSV file into Pandas data frame using this particular code. So in this way, you can see it has also given a sample code. So on the left-hand side, whatever queries you ask, it will start giving you the sample codes to do that in the main frame, which is your coding panel. So here you see it has given a sample code that, let's say you have a data file which contains information. This is how you can load that. So this is how you can use AI tools effectively for learning Python, upskilling yourself in Python, learning and using it for AI, machine learning, or data analysis type of task, which is very popular these days. So this was the first one. Google Colab, very popular one in data science community. The second one, which I'll take you through now, is GitHub Copilot. And as you can see, when I search GitHub Copilot in Google, the name itself says it is your AI pair programmer, which works alongside you directly in your editor, suggesting whole line entire functions. So let's see what are the different capabilities offered by GitHub Copilot. So when you land on this page, you click on try Copilot now. So every month you are given certain free credits which you can use and analyze it and analyze different code repositories and use it to build end-to-end applications also. So here you see when if you look at the model list, it has provided the different models, GPT-5 mini, Claude, GPT-4. So you can use any of these models and use them behind the scene to understand the course. So here, let's say you want to learn about scikit-learn library. So if I go back, you see scikit-learn was the library which was used for developing this simple linear regression model. And scikit-learn is actually a Git is a package hosted on GitHub. So here you see, so this package is hosted on GitHub, and you want to, let's say, understand more about this or use scikit-learn library to develop some more applications. So you can take GitHub Copilot's help for that. So you see, help me understand scikit-learn package functionality. So it will start analyzing again your request, will process it and come up with the response. So you see, it has given you information about it, what are the different packages available inside it. So if you see, linear regression is what we were using in the Colab notebook. So this is available here. So it has given the repository structure also. So how the repositories are structured, so that you can analyze through GitHub Copilot. You can also take its help in writing end-to-end applications also. So the good thing about GitHub Copilot is it's not limited to just Python. So Google Colab is best suited for writing Python type application. But if you, let's say, want to build a end-to-end Java application, or let's say any Java based application, you want to write a backend service, so all of that you can do using GitHub Copilot. So there is no such restriction on type of language which can be used. So here you can ask it to write, let's say, write a front end application for chatbot. So here it will analyze again your request and create the right component for the application that you have requested. And once the code is generated, you can also do a Q&A on the code base. Let's say you have a code base available with you. So here you see the plus icon is there. You can add repository files and spaces and do a question and answering on that. Let's say there's certain part of the repository you are not aware with, you are not able to understand it. So you can ask questions on that and get your queries or doubt resolved. So here you see the question that I had, or the application I wanted to write. It has started creating the files for that in the right structure in which it should be. And along with it is now generating the code also. And all of that you can readily push into your GitHub repository. So this is how, again, you can learn about different languages, how to create different applications, and then once it is done, you can do a Q&A also. Like, for example, let's say you have a question like, what does this package.json means? What's the use of that? So all your queries can be rectified through this chat window that you have available in your GitHub Copilot. But you can see it has generated the entire code. Then you can ask like, what that particular code component is doing. So all that information you can ask to GitHub Copilot. So now these two tools are very popular in coding world, in technical world. So try using these. First is your Google Colab and second is your GitHub Copilot. Now the next two which I'll take you through, they are very research-based, research-focused tools. So first I'll take you through Elicit. Let's go to Elicit's website. So when you type elicit.com, this is the kind of dashboard you will see. Let me zoom in a bit. So Elicit offers both free services also and paid services. But within the free tier also, they have a lot of functionality which you can use to query your answers, do a basic research on any topic that you are interested in. So if you look at here on the left hand side, there is this section called tools, and you have these different options. First is find papers, second is paper chat. So first I'll begin with find papers. Let's say you are doing a research on semiconductor and you want to know more about the latest developments in that. So let's say you just type semiconductor. Then as soon as I type this, here you see at the bottom, it gives me option that try adding elements like specify research focus, specify research type, or you want to understand about the economic implications on semiconductor industry. So with just the one word that I had written, Elicit automatically comes up with how the search query I am typing here or the prompt I'm writing here can be improved. So let's say I use this option, specify research focus. So my query now changes to what are the current technological challenges in semiconductor manufacturing that limit the production of smaller, more efficient microchips? So let's say I select this option. Then my query has been paraphrased to this. And when I click here, enter, behind the scene, the query will now be matched again different papers, research papers, which are available in Elicit's library. And what it will do here, it will represent this new screen in front of you, where here you can see different papers which are very similar or relevant to the query that you had written. So it has rank order 10 pages. So you see an analysis of semiconductor manufacturing, current trend and challenges. Then it gives you a summary also of that paper. So instead of you going manually and looking at that paper, it generates a summary along with the paper also. And it has done that for all the papers. Here you see the second paper is here. It has given the summary of that also. So all the papers are available here along with the summary. So in the front page or the first page, you will only see the 10 sources. If you want to look at more sources, you can click on load more papers also. And here there is one third more block that you can see, result details. So whenever you click on any summary or any row, specific results, you will see in the results detail. So this is how you can use Elicit for finding the papers. Now I'll take you through some more functionalities. So within Elicit, let me show you some more functionalities. So while I'm trying this, have you all used these AI tools for doing research, academic research, or any topic in your thesis? If not these two, any other tool that you are using? So feel free to drop in your responses in chat. So are you using any other tool for doing academic research? Okay, so try drop your responses in the chat. Meanwhile, let me talk about one more very good functionality which is available in Elicit. This is your research report generation. So let me click on this. So as you can see here with this option, you can ask a research question to generate a structured research report automatically. So this is what help you can get. Let's say you want to write a report on something. So you can take help of this popular workflow, which is available as part of Elicit, to generate a primary version of that. So let's say you want, as you can see, there are three options given: magnesium effects on sleep, online versus in-person CBT. So there's some, let's say I pick one, magnesium effect on sleep. So I want to generate a research report on that using whatever information is there in the research paper available in library of Elicit. Then let's see what kind of response we can generate using this. Yeah, so you can see I've got the result for the topic that I was interested in, which was analyzing magnesium's role in sleep and stress. And you see it has created this report which has the abstract, the method which was used to conduct the study on the people to analyze its role on sleep and stress. After that, if you scroll down, it has the results also of that. Then, based on the different studies, what was the sleep quality measure, its effect, and what was the duration for which it was tracked. So in this way, you can see it has generated a very structured report for the research topic that you had in mind. And on the right hand side, it gives you details on the how that report was generated. So if you see here, behind the scene, what Elicit did was it gathered the sources, and it actually gathered 499 sources, which are actually very closer to the research question that you had. After that, it filtered it basis on keeping only very similar articles to your query. So that is your screen sources phase, where it has narrowed down it to some 14 sources, and after that it has moved to third step of extracting data. So it generated the 98 data points and used that to create your final report. Any step that you are interested in, you can click on the details and it will give you the information on that, what 499 sources it found, what 14 sources it screened, and what 98 data points it extracted. So everything is very transparent. It will give you exact detail on from where that information was taken. So nothing is hidden. Everything is very transparent and is grounded in the information present in the research papers. So this is very nice, like I would say, AI tool to do the research. Apart from that, the another one which is here is this Science Navigator. So Science Navigator is also a similar tool to do the research. So let me quickly show you this also. Science Navigator. It has been now actually rebranded or renamed as Bohrium AI. So if I click here, so this is very similar to your Elicit. You can do Q&A. You can use specific scientific journals or websites to answer your questions. You can specify sources also from where you want to do Q&A. So here, deep think is also there. You can use this deep thinking method also to do deep research on a specific topic. So try this tool also. Really good, really handy for doing academic research on topic that you are interested in. So after that, so these two category of tools, as you can see here, the first one is your coding category of tools. Second is your research category of tool. The third is Udly. Udly, as I was saying, it is more towards how to work on your soft skills. So let me type Udly now. So let's do sign in. So one thing about Udemy is that it only actually offers 5 free interactions. So it's not totally free. So you will need to use this, let's say, just for some practice or preparations. It's not opening right now. Maybe I'll take you through this later. But basically what you can do, you can prepare for your presentations with it. Here, if you see here, use cases, you can do interview preparations. You can prepare for upcoming presentation. It will analyze your voice. It will actually do the recording. And it will also analyze your facial expressions also, and will give you some feedback basis on that. Udemy is not the only tool actually. These days you can actually use ChatGPT also, for, let's say, you want to prepare on some presentation. If I go to ChatGPT, you see here you can use voice also. So you can do the recording of, let's say, some slides that you are going to be presenting, and then ask ChatGPT by writing a prompt. I hope all of you are aware with the prompt engineering principles. So you can say, act as my voice coach and help me in preparing for my upcoming presentation. So this is the kind of persona you can give. You can actually do the recording, and ChatGPT, what it will do, it will analyze it and will give you feedback on the improvement that you can do. So this is also another tool like ChatGPT you can use for working on your soft skills also. So this was the learning phase where you are actually taking help of these AI tools for upskilling yourself in different aspects like coding, research, and soft skills. I have put in few slides here. These are what I did in the hands-on. So you will have all these slides available with you. So feel free to go through these. But this is essentially what actually I did while going through these websites, asking questions. So all of that actually is written in these slides. So this was our learning phase, how to use AI tools for learning. Now we'll move to second part, where we will see how to use AI tools for content design and delivery phase, which means that how you can now turn your learnings into actually structured content which you can deliver any course that you are taking on, and how you can create slides also through that. So this is what we'll see next. So for that, I'll take you through now a goal or an objective that we have in mind that we will be trying to achieve. Here you can see the goal is written, and the goal says create a complete 1-week module which you can implement immediately in your course. So this is the goal we have. We want to create a 1-week module for any specific topic that we are going to be delivered to our students. And the requirements include in the study plan, it should have 3 measurable outcomes which should follow Bloom's apply and analyze. For those who are not aware, Bloom is again Benjamin Bloom. He did a lot of study in this particular field of education. So Bloom apply analyze is actually coming from his studies only. The second requirement is that we want to create a 90-minute live session plan also, which should have segments and timing. Then we have another requirement that in the 1-week module, there should be 2 async activities. Fourth is OER reading and video. So we should have some reading materials from verified sources. And after that, we want to have assessment related requirement also. So it should have one graded assessment with some rubric. This we will see while doing the hands-on. Then let's see what tools we are going to be using. So we will be using two tools. First is Perplexity, and ChatGPT is what we'll use secondly. So Perplexity we will use for sourcing open educational resources. So as we are seeing that all the content which we are going to use for creating the training material will be taken from verified open links of open educational resources. And ChatGPT is what we will use for creating the final template for delivering the content. So this is what we will be doing now. People who are not aware with Bloom's taxonomy can refer to this slide after the session. So basically, whenever you are learning something, it has some outcomes like, is it part of your remembering a topic, understanding a topic, applying that topic to achieve something, analyzing, evaluating, creating. So whenever you create a course plan, it should actually be able to be tagged with any of these outcomes. So these are the 6 outcomes as part of, or which are very popular as Bloom's taxonomy. So refer to this if you are already not aware of it, post the session. Now I have a quiz for all of you. Please use chat to drop your responses. The question I have for all of you is Perplexity a AI search engine or large language model? So please drop in your responses in the chat. Is this a LLM or an AI search engine? So I'm getting few responses now. Some saying AI search engine, some are saying LLM. So yeah, I'm getting the mixed responses, around 50-50. So I'll take you through this answer in a while. We'll see what Perplexity exactly is. Is it an AI search engine or a large language model? Before that, let's now look at how we are going to create our content. For that, we are going to use these template prompts. So these are the prompts we will be pasting to these AI models or AI tools. Prompt engineering, as you are all might be aware of, is how to write right set of instructions so that we can get the desired outcome from the AI model. So for designing the content, these are some set of prompts we will be using. So first prompt we will be using in Perplexity. We will do it step by step. So I will be pasting the prompt in Perplexity and I will show you what does that exactly mean. So let's go to Perplexity AI. And as you can see, when I type in Perplexity AI, it says Perplexity is a free AI-powered answer engine that provides accurate, trusted, and real-time answers. So you can see it's an AI-powered answer engine or a search engine. It's actually not a LLM or a large language model. And actually, if you see here in Perplexity, there are a lot of options. And if you click here, choose a model, you will be seeing a lot of these models. These are actually a Gen AI or LLM models. And these are actually coming from different providers. So GPT 5.2, as you might know, is from OpenAI. Sonnet is from Claude. Gemini, it is from your Google. So Perplexity actually behind the scene can use any of these models. So you can think of as a wrapper on top of these AI model, which takes users query, does a search similar to Google search, and finally uses any of these models to generate the final response in a structured manner. So Perplexity in itself is actually not a LLM or a large language model. It's a wrapper or a tool which is using these LLM models behind the scene to answer users' query. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to paste this first prompt and I'll show you in detail what exactly it says. So this is our first prompt where I'm saying that find 8 to 10 authoritative recent sources on topic. Now topic is actually a placeholder which I will need to replace with any specific topic that I'm, let's say, going to teach my students. So let's say it's data pre-processing in data analysis. So let's say this is the topic that I'm going to be teaching. And within that, I'm, let's say, focusing on missing data, outlier, encoding, scaling, leakage, subtopics. So this is the one that I'm going to teach my students. And then I'm saying to Perplexity that for creating the material for this particular topic, please prefer these resources. So this is the constraint I'm putting while getting the study material, that prefer NPTEL resources, scikit-learn documents, university pages, textbook, or open education resources, CC by CCO or BSD. Then on the output format, I'm putting this restriction that it should be a tabular format. It should have title, link, year, license, and one line buy to use. Then I'm making a very important, putting a very important restriction which says exclude personal blogs on verifiable sites, because whatever content you are going to be teaching, you don't want that coming from any personal blog where you might see there are a lot of errors or might be there, or it is not coming from any authenticated sources. So this is the kind of constraint you want to have while doing research through Perplexity. So let's hit enter. Okay, so let's see, we have got the response, and here if you see 3 steps completed, and if you click here, it will actually show you behind the scene what Perplexity did to come up with the final response. So you see, it broke down your query into multiple queries, and using that it got some sources, and then finally it's used a LLM to synthesize the response. And this is your final response, which you are seeing here is a tabular data with title of the topic that you are going to be presenting, link. So you can click this link and verify that from where it is coming. Then one line comment on why to use this. So in this way, it has given you a tabular link with 8 to 10 resources, which contains verifiable information on any topic that you are going to be teaching. Now, what we will do using these resources, we will be creating a content for which we will be using this prompt again in Perplexity. So here you see, now we are writing a follow-up prompt which says from the sources above, Produce a one-page teacher brief on topic. What was a topic? This is the same topic which we had written in our first prompt. So if I scroll up, this is this data processing, pre-processing in data analysis. So you can paste it here that this is the topic for which you want to use the above sources and create, let's say, a 2-page teacher brief. You can change it, let's say 3, 4, 5 pages. So that is a change you can make in the prompt. And you want following sections in the material. It should have key ideas, common pitfall, do, don't checklist, 3 short example. And every claim must have an inline citations which can be referred to know that from where this information has come. So let's hit enter. So you can see it has started creating the document in the structure that we are interested in. It has key ideas, common pitfall section, do, don't checklist. And once it is done, you can actually now export that as a PDF, Markdown, or a docx file. So let's say I download it. So you can see this is how the document looks like. And as it was requested, every link is present here from which the particular topic was taken. So this is how you can create your teaching material using Perplexity. Perplexity is used because you get all the citation of all the content from where the material has been taken. So the first step was gathering the content from locations from the internet which are verifiable. Now, once that is done, we'll now move to ChatGPT, and we will use these 3 prompts one by one to create our final delivery content. So let's start with this first persona prompt. And let's open ChatGPT now. So this is our first prompt I have written here. So prompt also has a lot of components. So the first one which I have written here is, I'm just giving a persona or a role to this chat interactions I'm having. It says that it actually is asking ChatGPT that now act as a higher education instructor designer for India, familiar with then whatever you see in the brackets is kind of a placeholder which you can replace with your specific requirements. After that, you provide AI model more information on who's the audience going to be. Then here you see audience can be high school students, undergraduate, postgraduate, or working professional. Then you give information on bandwidth, that whoever is your audience is, what kind of internet connection they have, what LMS you are using, any constraint, then what kind of output style you want in the response. So this is just setting the persona for the AI model. So let's hit enter. So you see, you get this response that's acknowledged. I'll operate with the following default unless you change them. So in this way, you have made sure that ChatGPT will work as per your requirement now by setting these dimensions in this particular chat interaction that you are doing. After that, now we'll paste this second prompt. So this second prompt says, write 4 measurable learning outcomes for topic. This is again a placeholder at Bloom's apply analyze. So basically here, what we need to do, we need to actually paste the content we had created using Perplexity. So you see whatever content we have on the data pre-processing is what we will be using now. You can upload the file or you can copy it, whatever you find easy. So let me just quickly copy this content. And now we are going to refer this content in while creating the final curriculum design. So it says write 4 measurable learning outcomes for following content. Then you just upload it or paste it. And then you have the same instruction, use Bloom's apply, analyze, map each learning outcome to a course outcome, and also suggest how to measure those particular learnings. And the return table format is this. So let's hit enter and see what response we get. So you see it has started designing the content, saying this is the learning outcome 1. It is tagged to Bloom's apply. So the learning outcome is apply appropriate data cleaning technique, and how you will evaluate that your students or you have learned it is through a hands-on lab where students will be needed to clean the data and provide short justification note. So in this way, it has created the 4 learning outcome. It has tagged to the applicable Bloom's apply analyze category. And it has given evidence and the assessment details also related to this particular learning outcome. Now the third and the final prompt that we are going to paste here is this, which is to create our final session plan. And here what we will do, we will use this, using these learning outcomes given above. So the learning outcome which we just got. So let's say using these learning outcomes given above and whatever content we have and content, create 90-minute live plan split into 10 to 15 segments plus 2 asynchronous activities, and this is the output format we want to have. So let's hit enter. So this is your 90-minute live session plan, which is reflecting your activate, teach, practice, reflect constraint you had provided in the prompt. And you see the 90-minute live session plan should start with activate, teach, practice, and reflect. It has given the timing also of every segment, what's the purpose of it, and what you should do or show in that particular 10-minute section. So this is all in line with the requirement we had given. So if you go back to the slides, so this was our objective actually, to create a 90-minute live session plan which should have segments and timing also. So this is exactly basis on the content we created, we have been able to come up with this final plan, which you can copy and actually can paste in any Google Sheet, or let's say whatever Excel if you are using, you can paste this content in that and share with the students. So this is the content that we have created. I have a quick question for all of you. Which tools you are using for creating slides? So let's say you have the content with you, now you want to create the slides. What all tools you are using for presentation creation? Yes, so I see Canva, Gamma. Yes, so these are very popular these days, Canva and Gamma. So if you see in ChatGPT, Canva has been integrated, so you can see here more. So here in the app section, you can go and actually add Canva now in your Chat GPT application. So when you click here, you can actually ask that, help me create slide. Help me create slide on, let's say, whatever topic or the content you had. So you can, so whatever content, let's say you had in the document or the MD file we created, you want to convert it into slides. So you can actually take help of Canva now inside Chat GPT. So they have integrated it. And apart from that, some of you were saying you use Gamma also. So Gamma is actually also one of very popular free AI presentation tool. Here also you can paste the entire content and it will generate slides for you. The limitation is that with the free version, you can actually create, I think, around 10 slide max. So that is one limitation with Gamma. So it generates the slide by slide structure and then you can ask it to edit in Canva. So here you see, once it creates the slide structure, then you can ask it to convert it into a Canva deck. Talking about Gamma, so here you see you can click on create new. Then you can generate slides. So you see you can go to presentation. And then you can paste whatever content we had generated and it will start creating slides. Some slides I have already created. Let me take you through those. So this is your foundation of data analysis. So this is all generated using the content we created using Perplexity. So you see, this is all what was generated using the content. And the thing is, all these are editable. You can actually download these presentations. You can export them as PDF, your slides, Google Slides, or Microsoft PPTs. You can make edits also in these. So let's say you want to make some changes. So all fields are editable. So it's not that they are like fixed. As per your requirement, you can make changes and use them for delivering the presentations. So Gamma is one tool you can try. Canva is also is generating. So here you see in Canva also it has created the slides for you. And it gives you a link also where you can open and edit. So let's say whatever content or material you have got, you want to edit that. So it gives you a link also through which you can go to Canva and make the edits. So use this feature also, which is now integrated inside ChatGPT, is how to use Canva with ChatGPT for creating the presentation. So with this, we have completed our second step. So let's go back to slides. Yeah, so slide we have seen how to generate. So in our 4-step study, smart study system design, we have completed 2 steps and these were the most important one. Learning phase, like how to use tools for upskilling ourselves, and then second was how to design content and convert that content into interactive media through AI tools is what we just saw. Now we'll move to the third part, which is your assessment phase. So Why assessment is important? Because whenever you have delivered a content, now you want to understand how students are able to perform on that. Or let's say you want to do the assessment for yourself also. You want to learn how many concept or how much of the content you were able to grasp. So let's see how you can create effective quizzes, MCQs, or auto grading systems using AI tools. Now, to create the assessment, you can use help of ChatGPT. So I'll take you through a prompt. With that, you will be able to create a very nice structured MCQs and scenario-based questions. And there are specialized assessment tools also which uses AI, like Quizzy. So that also I'll take you through. But first, let's use ChatGPT and see how to generate assessments for whatever readings we had generated and delivered to students. So in the same chat window, let's paste this. Here again, the prompt says, from this reading, then you need to paste or provide the reading which we had generated. So let's paste the same reading. So let's take it from here. So let's paste this. So from this reading, this is your reading. So this is here. Now what we want is, we want ChatGPT to actually create 5 items. So let me show you this prompt step by step. So it says create 5 items. So what are those items? 2 items should be from MCQ categories with misconception based distractors. So where AI thinks that people usually make mistakes. So this is what it should be focused on while creating the MCQs. Then the third should be a numerical question. After that, one short scenario based question. And the fifth should be interpret the graph. So in this way, you are creating these 5 items for assessment. And then you provide this also, that provide answer key also for all the questions. And you are asking it to generate a 4x4 rubric for short scenario type answers. So let's hit enter. So you see, we have started getting the assessment items for the reading that we had provided or for the topic that we are covering. So you see, first is your MCQ, which is your highlighting the misconceptions usually people have. So like, which action best prevent data leakage during pre-processing? And then it also says what's the correct answer and identifies that what type of misconception it is trying to target. Now, similarly, we have item 2, which is again a misconception that where is treating a zip code as a numeric problematic. And here you see what kind of misconception it is targeting. It is written in detail here. Then from the prompt, if you remember, one item we had asked to be a numerical type. So here you can see it says given a data set with Q1, Q3, these values, identify the upper bound for outlier detection. So here what student will have to do, they will have to make a calculation, do a calculation and Basis on that calculation, they need to provide the information. So it is different from your MCQs. They don't have to pick an option. They need to do the calculation and then give you the response. The item 4 here, as you can see, is a scenario based short answer. So student will be given a scenario, and basis on that scenario, they need to come up with the right approach or right option for solving that problem. So here you can see for scenario based questions, it says you are integrating two data sets, and after integrating those data set, model performance drop sharply. And then this was your scenario, and the question you are asking that identify two pre-processing issues, one appropriate pre-processing action based on the reading. So this is your scenario based question. For what student will have to do here, they will have to provide 3 to 4 sentence responses to this question for the grading. And the fifth and the final one is your interpret the graph. So here what you can do, you can show a visual or a graph to student. They will need to analyze it and then give you the responses. So here you see different types of items have been generated by ChatGPT on which students will be graded. Now you have the 4x4 rubric also for assessing the student. Why do we need this? Because for MCQs, it is easy to grade a student that this was the option picked up by a student and is it correct or not. But when you have these scenario based questions, it is very difficult to judge a student based on one parameter. So that's why these are very popular in grading. These were very popular grading mechanism for these subjective question and answering. So here you see how you can provide a number 4 as a, let's say, response to a student's question. If the conceptual accuracy looks like this, then the level or the score that you will give to student will be high. If they use the terminologies, then what should be the score? Reasoning and justification, clarity. So if all of these satisfy, you give a student a score of 4. How would you give a student a score of 1? If they have an incorrect conceptual accuracy, clarity is not there. In some cases, students have clarity, but conceptual accuracy is not there. So you can then see whether the student should be given a score of 2 or 3. So these are the kind of rubric you usually create for scenario-based question and answers. So this is how you can create assessment quizzes using GPT. If you want to use any specific tools, AI tools, so there are tools like Quizzy, which actually is now rebranded as Wayground. So as you can see, it's very popular AI tool. So let's log into this. So here you can use AI to generate quizzes and also track the results. So you get the results in an Excel, and basically what you can do, you can upload those Excel sheets in, let's say, tools like ChatGPT to get the assessment done. So this is very handy tool made available by Wayground, or formerly known as Quizzy. So here you see on the dashboard, you can click on create. And within the create, you see there are a lot of options. So let's say you are using that for assessment. So you can click on it. And here you see you get options like generate with AI. So what you can do, you click here. You can upload any text material. You can write any text or prompt that from this particular content you want to create quizzes. here you see it gives you like options like how many quizzes you want. Then you have options subject and options like subject and grade. You can select from professional development till very like small grades. What topic is there? Let's say computers. And you can paste all your readings here and then use AI to generate the quizzes. So this is how you can take help of these AI tools to create the quizzes for you. But you can use again ChatGPT also and other Gen AI models like Gemini to do these assessment creation for you. So you see, Background has created these quizzes for you. If again all of this is editable, you can edit it. You can delete any of the quiz if you want. And once done, you can publish it and share it actually to any of your let's say LMS system that you are using, Google Classroom or Moodle. So that option is provided here. Also, it lets you do this 10 times for free. So that's pretty good. So you can create 10 quizzes and share that with your students. So let's now move to the final section, which is your analytics phase, where how to analyze the discussion summaries on generate the learning insights. So these discussion summaries, let's say you have any portal like Google Classroom, so where students are discussing some concept related to any classroom session which happened. So what you can do, you can actually export all the conversations and ask models like GPT to analyze them and identify the key pain point areas of where students are struggling. You can generate learning insights also through these AI models. And actually, let's say you have an Excel of the quizzes which were answered by students. So you can upload these in, let's say, as an Excel to any models like ChatGPT or Gemini and get your query is answered and get the assessment on what should be the next step in your teaching. So what I'll do now, I'll use a specific prompt, which is here, the third prompt. It is actually to analyze the whatever students are talking in, let's say, Google Classroom. So I'll show you how to analyze those classroom discussion with this particular prompt. So in the prompt, what I will write, so let me copy and paste it and then show you how it will be used. So let's copy this prompt. Let's open ChatGPT. So here, let's look at the prompt and what it says so that you understand what all requirements we have here. So in the prompt, it says, summarize these posts into themes, misconceptions, and a 15-minute practice task for the students. Write a supportive 120-word announcement. So basically what I'll be doing now, I'll be providing some post which ChatGPT will analyze for us. So let me upload a sample document. So whatever discussions happen in, let's say, Google Classroom, this is how they are usually structured. These are the files. This is how it looks like. You can actually export all these conversation from Google Classroom. You can do that easily. So let's say once you have all of this in like discussion points available, you want to analyze these discussions. You don't want to manually go through them and do the analysis. So let's see how you can just upload this file in GPT or paste it and say summarize above post into themes, misconception, a 15-minute practice task, and write a supportive 120-word announcement. And you can see this is how all the information looks like. It gives users name, what message they had written, what was the timestamp. So all these information are usually stored as a JSON file that, and now you want to analyze these JSON files. So let's write all the content and the prompt and hit enter. So you see, ChatGPT has analyzed the conversations for us and it has identified the key themes for us here. That people are or students are talking about importance of pre-processing, common pre-processing tasks. Then it has identified common misconceptions and doubts. So students, while talking to each other, have these misconceptions related to missing value. They are confused about when to delete the rows versus when to impute. They are confused with these two topics of normalization and standardization. They think that same, some are not clear with that. So these are some of the misconceptions identified from the students' conversation. Now, basis on that, what GPT has done, if you remember in the prompt we have written that generate a 15-minute practice task so that students can actually be helped with clearing these doubts which they have. So this is a 15-minute practice task which can be created. It says, create a data set, small CSV with missing values. Your task is to identify 3 data quality issues, decide how to handle missing value and justify it, and choose normalization or standardization as a technique, and explain that why it was using. If you want, you can ask GPT to generate small CSV also for this particular task. And then it ends with a supportive 120-word announcement that great discussion, everyone. You clearly understand the concept, but there are some confusion for which this particular task can be done. So this is all driven by the prompt we had written. So whatever change you make in the prompt, the sort of response you will get. So this is how you can do the analysis of all the discussion, all the results you get of the teaching that you have done. Yeah, so this was our last phase. Now, before ending the session, I want to quickly talk about a very important concept, AI in education, how to use it responsibly. So quick question, can you paste in chat which is PII, person name or Aadhaar number? If you don't know, you can write not sure, so not an issue. Okay, so why we need to know about this particular concept? Because it is very important for understanding the responsible AI usage. Whenever you are using AI, always be aware of the fact that no artificial intelligence model is 100% accurate. And that's why actually when generating or creating the educational content, we use tools like Perplexity or Google Scholar, which gives us the verifiable links also, like to which we can go and verify from where this information is coming. Because let's say you take some content, you read that content, understand it, but if actually it's wrong, or is coming from an unverifiable link or from some personal blog, which is not correct. So this is not the right approach to be taken. So that's why accuracy is always first. Always double check whatever content you are consuming and are teaching to your students. Second is privacy protection. So information like PII, like Aadhaar number, it is private information. So never post or put that information in AI prompt. You can redact it, remove it, put it some placeholder, but don't paste the exact information. Always do proper attribution. Like if you are using some resources, some images from some websites, always give credit to that publisher. Maintain accessibility standards so that content is reachable for all sorts of students. So provide caption, alternate text, good color contrast so that all students can understand that content. Academic integrity, very important. AI is okay for ideas, outlines, and practice, but it is not allowed for proctored tests. So clearly disclose which AI uses are allowed versus prohibited for students. Final is AI detector usage. So a lot of you or I also use AI tools to detect the usage of AI tools. But as I said, no AI is 100% correct. So even these detector tools can be unreliable. So what instead you can do, you can ask the student to maintain the version history and prompt and conduct short vivas from the version to understand how they arrived at the final solution and are they aware of all the intermediate steps or not, because usage of AI is going to increase only. So asking someone to not use it is not an option. So ask them to or try to understand their thought process, like how they are using AI, are they understanding the concepts or not. So yeah, this is it. So this is the end of the session. So thank you everyone. If anyone has any question, you can put in chat or you can unmute yourself also.
Thank you so much, Shikha, for that session. That was very informative as usual. I'll request you to share your presentation with me so that I can share it with the faculty members.
Yeah, sure. I'll do the after the session. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
share.
Yeah, and to all the faculty members, thank you so much for attending. I'll just repeat quickly once again that some of your email IDs are not working. We'll get it fixed by tomorrow. So you can log in at 6 o'clock today. We'll try to get it fixed by then. So, and attendance is on Zoom. So if you have joined Zoom, your attendance will be marked. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.